continue on with our furrow-filled adventures. Yes, I know this is an older game, but right now I don't really want to get into any of Ginger's Dreamlight, and I don't play Speedstorm. So then I go ahead and just do a little more with the Dragon Quest. So if you want to stop by and say hi, I'd love to chat. I'm sorry, I'm sometimes a little slower with responding, but I do see it, and I do greatly appreciate when you join. And last time you guys saw this, it's been a minute, but I've done some things since then, and I will explain the things that I've done. And honestly, I will explain also why I have done them. Um, there's this is one of those games that it's honestly kind of a in the, in the early parts of the game, you start off so behind because you're I don't know how many of you have ever played Dungeons and Dragons, but it's kind of like coming up against, well, anything on Dungeons and Dragons when you first start out. You're not sure what to do, and then you've got these ideas, but then the execution is. And so there are certain things that I found it's more beneficial to have done because like it gets really frustrating when you've got to grow blah 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 crops, and you have to grow so many different kinds, and you have to have so many different pieces of your field and whatnot. The game isn't overly great about setting out what um, I don't know. You end up at such a disadvantage when you very first start out. So I found it was beneficial to just take care of a few things like creating a moat and leveling up your character. Because unfortunately, when you first start out, each location you can only level up so much. Like this one, you have a max of 10 when you first start out, which I'll be honest, there's some monsters that you encounter that it's like even at 10, you still feel like you're at negative 100 compared to these things. So then there are certain things that just make the game play a little more smooth, I guess is the best way to put it. Um, so those are some things that I've done. And one of those things is to create, it's not yet a moat, but it will be, um, around the actual perimeter because there isn't really anything that defines the perimeter, which does get kind of aggravating because then you just you just kind of feel like you just don't feel like your footing is ever underneath you. Um, and yeah, because I have played this before, and I actually am playing this on a different profile, so that when I do come in here for my mod takeover, I have more of an advantage. I don't know. I just don't. I just feel like there's like those first levels are just so frustrating because you're going into it and you're like, oh, let me go fight a slime, which literally has an experience of one, and you're swinging 3 or 4 times, and it's like hits you once, and you're almost dead because you just don't have anything built up, and then you later on encounter some of the more brutal characters and realize, oh, well, that would have been awesome if I would have had, I don't know, just a forewarning that this is what I was going to be up against, or, I wouldn't have picked that fight with a monster that was going to make my game laugh at me. Um, so just certain things that do make it a little smoother as you're going through doing all this. Honestly, some of it's so weird. Some of it's such bizarre stuff. Um, so that's where I'm finishing up out here is building my moat. I won't fill it with water yet because um, I don't yet have a tool that makes that possible. Um, I will, but I don't right now. So for right now, we're simply going to finish building. Who's streaming? It's mom. How you doing? I'm lost. 29 hit a little harder than Ginger was anticipating. And by that, I mean all the drinks that 29 had, or that Ginger had for her 29th, and a little harder than she was anticipating. So I'm streaming tonight for her. Yeah, it's mom. How are you doing? He sent her input to the IRS. Okay. I mean, at least I know like who to contact if, something untoward happens with that information there. Um yeah, she's just not been feeling 100% lately. So, and then I'll give you she had a lot to drink. So, how's your week been? We did the after dark party. There were parts of it that were a lot of fun, and it was cool to get to see some friends. Um, they didn't really have a lot out for characters, like unusual characters, which is that's a big thing for us. We love the characters, and Ginger dressed up like a bantha. It was really funny. Um, but they took away so much. They had a lot of the characters that you could see are just characters you can just see. So it was really disappointing. Um, And it was super, super stressful because, and this is not the first after dark party that we've done, and just I don't know, it just the whole thing was a mess, and just really disappointing. And then her actual birthday was again, it was another blend of really cool and not so great, with a lot more alcohol. Oh yeah, no. And I made the mistake of I bit my tongue in my sleep on, oh God, what would it have been, Monday night. So I had to be like really cautious on what I can eat. Make sure I don't agitate it. Like, they had pasta, and oh my God, let me just tell you, it, it was some of the most disgusting thing I've ever had the misfortune to eat. It was like pea sauce, which I really like peas, you know, but ew, it was. I mean, it actually tasted like baby vomit. Like it was just I don't even know. So I got to waste my money on that, and then those $5 sodas, and $5 bottles of water, and yeah, we don't normally have. It's not normally that bad for us. We don't normally drop the ball like that. But I'm not real sure what was going on with Disney. And then a lot of the cast members, so rude. Um, a lot of them weren't in their normal areas. Like several of the people that were assisting, like one of the people that was assisting with the Jawas, because we went and saw the Jawas, and or no, it was the Ewoks, and okay, yeah. um, Okay. Um, yeah, so we were in line for the Ewoks, and of course, I mean, it's just stressful, tired, whatever, whatnot, whatnot. And I mean, like we were we were very lucky to have been. Um, so sorry, I got distracted there. Um, so I asked the host. I was like, well, because there was other things, of course, we wanted to try to do. And so I asked the host, I was like, well, I do realize that the Ewoks have their own agenda, of course, and we're very lucky to have been graced with their presence tonight. But I am just curious if the one who's currently out meeting with friends, if for something were to happen, he were to get called away, does he have any friends in the area who would be able to come say hello? Had absolutely no idea how to answer that question. Mm, and again, I realize, but then when I said, "Oh, what do you normally do?" She was like, "Oh, I work in stores." I was like, "Oh, that's a very different area than what you're currently doing." So, not real sure why they opted to have like store associates filling in for hosts, and like there was somebody who was directing lines, like just traffic lines, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Oh," because he was a little overwhelmed. I was like, "You," and he expressed that that was his first time, um, any kind of crowd control. It just, I don't know, just the whole thing was like that. It just kind of all felt smushed together. Sorry. Um, yeah, it just, I don't know, just the whole thing was just kind of a mess. And I know it's the first night. And I know, of course, when you're talking about the first night, there's always quirks, but this wasn't even just like quirks. It was just a mess. Like, legitimately, it was just a mess. Um, so, yeah, so it's been kind of a stressful couple days. And like, the last thing we did yesterday was we went to the cantina, and that was such a disaster. Um, yeah, so we put in for the cantina for the after dark party, and it was like, oh, 35-minute wait. Never got a page back. Um, then we actually had a reservation for the cantina on Wednesday. And they were trying to squeeze us into a booth that already had two guys sitting there. They weren't making the guys move at all. Those guys were taking up like half the booth. And they were trying to put 8 people in literally half the booth. Um, and so we were like, yeah, no, but this is not going to work. And wasted an hour and a half trying to get somebody to assist us with getting all that straightened out. Um, and they were like, "Oh, well, you can come back at 9." I was like, "I don't really want to come back at 9. I've already spent way more of my time than I wanted to here. As it is, we made a reservation so that we'd be able to sit down and, you know, somewhat enjoy the cantina." Mm, the lady who, because we were walking, and then they were like, "Oh, well, you're just gonna have to wait here." And then when they were trying to reseat us the second time, um, we asked her how many people we were going to be sitting with, and she refused to acknowledge that we asked her a question. The manager was just, I don't know, short, rude, not as bad as she was. She was atrocious. Um, went to City Hall, and I didn't go. Ginger and her father went, and the lady apparently was at first really nice, and then she just got real nasty. So I'm just not even sure what happened. Um, but yeah, the whole trip was just kind of like that. It was just like, I don't know, just like the whole atmosphere of the park was just strained and tense and not at all like the Disney I'm used to. So it was a little, Y- yeah, it's just I don't know, just the whole thing seemed forced and like no one was in their normal locations and yeah, but it wasn't even it wasn't even that. It was like the whole thing with the the okay, when we went in, we checked in at Starcade, what used to be Starcade, and um, they had some merchandise, and we just wanted the pen. We didn't want anything else. We just wanted the pen, and they were like, "Oh well, since it's got a great big line, why don't you just wait until after 9 o'clock? Everything will be available on Main Street." Okay, sounds good. So on the end of the night at 12:30, when everything is now closing, everybody's going inside, even though the party's supposed to go till 1. Um, we go to buy the pen, and turns out Main Street never even got the pens. And the one lady that Mike asked, he was like, "Oh, well, the Star Tours is already sold out, or Starcade's already sold out, whatever." Like, so we didn't end up getting the pen that we wanted. Um, and I mean, yeah, I like we do spend a lot of time at Disney, and not as much now because the car's been down, but um, I do know how to approach things. I know how to say things the correct way, and I know to be nice. You know, kind of like Dalton. You're nice until I tell you to not be nice. Um, so I get that, but it didn't even matter. Like I feel like these people were just as frustrated as we were. Hey, Dark Pants, how are you tonight? I'm sorry. I please tell me I'm reading that right. This is yeah. It wasn't even that it sold out. They just never even got it up there. Like they, I mean, we were able to get it. Like one of the merchandising managers was able to um get it for Mike, but just the whole thing, it was just a mess. And it just made everything way more stressful than it should have been. Um, I just don't feel like it was worth the time, the effort. Definitely not worth the money. And like, we all love Star Wars. So for me to say I absolutely did not have any fun at a Star Wars party, it's, mm, I think, a pretty good indicator of how not on the ball Disney was with this one. Like I said, Ginger's not liking the fact that she's not where she wanted to be. She's not doing what she wanted to be doing at this point. So that's been a challenge. And I mean, I wasn't even on the excursion yet and already started off injured. So that was definitely not the way to start a great week. Yeah, probably not. I couldn't even get him to get me a date when we went in with the whole fiasco on Tuesday because we had some. I mean, like I said, the whole trip was just a problem after problem. All they did was say, "Oh, well, here's some fast passes," because fast passes are going to give me back my 2 hours of a special ticketed event that I wasted getting nothing done because you guys didn't have your shit together. Mm. So it's just, I mean, I don't know, it just wasn't good. It just was bad. Just the whole thing was bad. So, yeah, I, like I said, they wouldn't even give us like a food voucher or anything. Like, there was absolutely no accommodation made for any of the bullshit that we dealt with. So, I just don't know that. And I mean, I don't need to have my money back, but it would be nice to at least be acknowledged the fact that some of the things that took place were not things that should have taken place, and Disney's not really. And that's just kind of, I guess, you know what it is? That's kind of been the theme of my life this last week is let's screw over your family and you get to pay for the consequences, and it's your responsibility, not mine. Because um, I got her a collectible, and the box is ripped. And I don't know if you do anything with collectibles, but the easiest way to explain it is if it's not pristine, it's worthless. So, ripped box, it's worthless. So, the triple that you charged me for this item, mm, you need to take some responsibility for the fact that you have some kind of hookup. We're able to get something that most of us were not. Um, and then this person is just, they were like, okay, well, you can send it back in. I was like, okay, well, then um, send me a thing so I can ship it back to you and get a refund. No, I will take that out of your refund. No. I mean, why am I paying you to take back an item that you sent me that is not in good condition, not in the condition that you advertised it, which is new. New does not imply a ripped box. And then you want me on my dime to send it back to you so then you can turn around and sell it to some other unsuspecting person. No, we're not doing that. And that's just kind of that's been my week. It was like the one thing I didn't actually use Navy Federal for, because if I would have, Navy Federal would have just been like, oh, okay, you didn't get the service that you paid for, you didn't get what you were supposed to be getting, so here's your money, and they now have the burden of proof, not you. Discover Card was like, okay, well, we'll investigate it and give you a provisional credit right now. Oh, thanks. Oh, just kind of been my week. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, it, it, like, there were so many times that she started crying, and no, it wasn't because of her age. She just started crying because things were just so stupid and not handled well. And I mean, it was nice. We did get to see some friends, so that was cool. Um, it's just, I don't know. It's just a mess. And like every time we tried to, oh, just one more shot, like maybe Disney will redeem themselves, and they never did. And yeah, as far as getting another ticket, yeah, that's not a feasible option for us. Um, Even the one ticket was honestly a challenge. Um, so spending that amount of money for a second opportunity to be disappointed and irritated is, yeah, I'm good. We'll see if we can't get Ginger to post a picture of her bantha outfit. It was really funny. She didn't get cold. It's been getting cold, like really cold at night here. So that was at least a bonus. You can actually talk to anybody when you call anymore. The only way you can even put in you can't put in a complaint at all. You can only put in a compliment. You can ask for somebody to please contact you back, but they never do. The only way to even remotely maybe talk to somebody is if you handle it in person, which we tried on 3 different occasions. And with each interaction that we had, it just got worse and worse. I don't know. I just feel like they've just really gone downhill. Like one of our favorite t-shirt companies, T Turtle, we found them at a D23 one year. Like their stuff was so cute. So we're like, we found out that they lost their Disney contract, and that just kind of, I don't know. I guess the best way I can say that is that seems to be the it just kind of feels like that's, and I don't know, Disney just got an approval for like a, no, something like a 10-year expansion. The city of Anaheim approved this big expansion. And it worries me because I kind of feel like if that's, you know, you're doing all this really stupid shit. You're not really taking input. You're making it harder. Of course, everybody makes it hard to actually talk to somebody now. My mortgage broker, oh my God, it took me almost an hour to even be able to get to talk to somebody. That is one of those things where I kind of feel like you should have a little bit more of a direct line of communication with somebody who can take away your house. And I'll be honest, I'm not even sure how I tricked the system into giving me an agent. Because, everything is automated. And then it kept saying, oh, what do you need? And I would repeat it. And then it would start me over again. Like at the beginning of the thing. So it literally took me an hour. I was hoarse by the time I actually got to talk to somebody because I was screaming. I was so fucking mad. Yeah, they lost their Disney contract. So I don't know. I know Ginger said that they were still 60% off last time she checked on all Disney merch. So if there's any Disney stuff that you want to check out on there, go check them out. They have really, really funny stuff. Um, I don't know, they're like this little weird, like chibi kind of cartoon character t-shirts. And they always have like really funny stuff on them. Like she got me a Boo for Halloween because I love Boo. And then we've gotten Star Wars, we've gotten Marvel, we've gotten just Disney and princesses, and yeah, they lost their contract. The one that kills me is that Lunchbox, which is owned by Hot Topic, has every imaginable contract ever. If it's pop culture, Lunchbox has a contract for it. So then, smaller companies like Tea Turtle, they don't stand a chance against somebody like Lunchbox. Lunchbox has stores and malls, and Lunchbox can't get, or Tea Turtle can't compete with somebody like that. But this kind of feels like the small guy is getting the shaft. You platinum status at Lunchbox. Oh, they have really cute stuff. Don't get me wrong. I really like their stuff, but they do make it harder for because Disney contracts are not cheap. Um, I looked into them before, and they're they're really expensive. Um, of course, Disney seems to have their own line of almost everything. See, stop it. Um, she has a lot of Hot Topic and has had Hot Topic for, been shopping at Hot Topic for a long time. Ginger. So for her, it's, Lunchbox was like, when they merged, it was like this really interesting, cool little wow. And now it's, I mean, sorry to say, but it's kind of lost some of its novelty. I do have a reason for all this weirdness on the screen here, and that is I know I have to have 250 crops growing at once because I just played this on another profile, and so I'm taking advantage of the fact that right now I'm not getting attacked by random monsters. Um, to flatten out the terrain. Um, like I am not ringing that bell until I'm well, I mean, she was she was always different. Like in that aspect, she very much is my daughter, and I very much am my mother's. Um, I was the girl who didn't own pants. Like, I didn't own jeans. Everybody else had jeans. I didn't own jeans because I owned dresses and mini skirts. And it didn't matter if it was 40 below zero. That's what I wore because that was my that was my choice. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. And so for her, she now it's black milk clothing. But I took her into Hot Topic at the end of her 6th grade year, right? And they had this little corset outfit, and she just thought it was super cute, and that was that. But I mean, even before then, like she always wore like Mary Kate and Ashley. Like that was a they had their own clothing design, like little girls' clothes, and so she wore that stuff. Um, I mean, her prom dress was neon. It was really really cute, but it was neon, and everybody else's all was just a ruffle variation here or a different color there, and hers was just little knee length corseted neon multicolor dress, and she was okay being different. She was okay not being like everybody else. And see, now they can't get away with that now because you can pretty much do whatever you want. At least out here you can. Um, it scares me when I have kids that are 13 and have like full beards and like you were 13, though, what, like 15 years ago? No? You just turned 13? Oh, okay. That's scary. Um, yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to fit in, and there's nothing wrong with fitting in. Just some people, that's a very easy thing to achieve, and some people, it's not achievable. No matter what they do, it's just not. Um, okay, name change. Gotcha. We were just discussing, which I think on here it's easy to appreciate people's differences, especially if you like visit, other people's streams and like, everybody's got their own personality and their own way of going about things, and it's cute and it's fun and like you don't necessarily want to belong to six channels that all sound the same. And no comments about the fact that Ginger and I sound so similar. She's my child, so there's nothing I can do about that. My mom sounded like us too. It was so fun to mess with my brothers. Oh my god, that was the best when my mom was still alive. Like my mom was, she was rotten. It was just a thing. She'd be like, "Call your brother." I'm like, "All right, well, what do you want me to, you know, what is it that you're wanting me to find out?" I know if he's gonna be home. My mom loved to cook, so she was like, "I have dinner. I need to take him to dinner." Okay. She's like, "Wait, wait, wait. When you call, say Christopher Lee," so he thinks it's me, because nobody used our middle names but mom. Um, and because we sounded alike, he was like, "Oh, mom, I'll be home in like 10 minutes." Whatever. Of course, I could never hold it together for very long because I like just wouldn't say anything and then I'd start laughing. He'd be like, "All right, bird." Like, "You're an idiot." But I like the variation. I like going on different people's channels and like seeing their personalities and their inputs, and I appreciate those differences. Unfortunately, most schools, that is not something that is encouraged or praised. Oh, you don't want to be just like everybody else in your class? Well, good for you. No, now it's, "Oh, you don't want to be like everybody else in your class? Okay, well, then you need to change that." Why? Why do I need to change who I am to fit your ideal? Yeah, I don't think it's fun. Like, I know you were on Thud's channel the other day. He's a character. Like, I'm sure you know enough having, I'm lost, having a. Yeah. Um, but I don't know. I think it's fun to see people's take on things. And I personally like the differences. I don't know, I was definitely the one of the most odd of not just my group of friends, but my family. I was really the most odd of my family. Um, so I mean, I guess from that aspect, I view being different a little, well, differently than other people do. I mean, did you have fun watching that stream the other night? He's the reason that Ginger started streaming, actually. Because she went on his channel to learn more about DBD and um, ended up subscribing and used to go just like chill and hang out a lot. And one of the guys on there was like, "Oh, you should stream." She was like, "No." He's like, "No." He's like, "You're really funny. Like, you should stream." And then, of course, that helped her a lot with the game, and occasionally he'll pop by on the stream, and he's good people. Um, Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think. How do I want to? Yeah. But was it interesting to see how differently people approach streaming? Because I know it. You don't. You don't really watch a lot of streaming, right? She thought it was really, really funny. POTUS as you walk in the rain. I'm not a fan of the rain. Then again, I'm not overly young, and the older you get, the harder those things become. I'm trying to think, how do I want to approach all this? Yeah, I put up a roof over this thing because after I get to this next section, all these stupid spores will start appearing. And okay, um, and they will ruin your everything. I don't do mean everything. So let's see, where is my. Just trying to make this a little more user friendly. I know, very monotonous. And maybe I can get Ginger to stream because we, I think we're, because we have Food and Wine right now at Disney, and I still have one of those little things that's got all the tabs that you trade the tab for the whatever it is you wanted to purchase from the Food and Wine. Um, so I think we're gonna go on. We're trying to go on Saturday, but maybe I can get her to stream for a little bit, or if she won't, then she should at least be on Sunday. Of course, we still have to have reservations here. Right now, our reservation is for Sunday, not Saturday, even though I prefer to go on Saturday. Um, Aw, see? Now these stupid monsters. Let's see. And that's why I created the wall with all the weird little shenanigans here. Oh my god, that was so weird.